Friday Workshop!
Welcome to Friday Workshop. What are we doing this week?
This week on Friday Workshop, we are going to be going through the only tools that you really need to woodwork.
Yeah, so a lot of people think woodworking costs money, so if you're just getting into woodworking, we're going to talk about what tools you actually need to do about 90% of the tasks there. So,
Here we go!
Number one is clamps. Okay, I just want to tell you right now that clamps are amazing. If you ask any woodworker what they want for Christmas, they're usually going to say more clamps. A woodworker can never have enough clamps. It's a meme out there for a reason. So these types of clamps at Harbor Freight are fantastic. It doesn't really matter. Longer ones can help you bring longer projects together. They're great for gluing. They're great for sanding. They're great for holding things while you cut. Any sort of clamp can be used as a cheap device. You can also clamp things to workbenches if you don't have a vise. And so clamping things to workbenches is a great way to use clamps.
Number 2 is the circular saw. This thing is awesome. Very powerful, very useful when you're doing big old pieces of plywood, those big giant sheets that you see out there in your Home Depot or Lowe's or all those places. That's what we use. We use this to cut them because they ain't gonna fit on that miter saw, and if they do, it's gonna take forever. Same thing with the bandsaw. These things are very powerful and very nice and easy to use.
Number 3. So this really is going to be a controversial one, right? What I think the tool you should spend the most money on your workshop is a bandsaw. It doesn't have to be a giant 14-inch bandsaw like this with a freaking extended throat, but it should probably be a bandsaw. Because while you have the skill saw, the circular saw, for cutting long boards and you have it for cutting sheet goods, there are 3 cuts that you really can't do without a bandsaw. Well, it serves the purpose of multiple tools. What you can do with a bandsaw is you can rip wood, which means you can go lengthwise up the length of the wood, which is fantastic. You can also do curved cuts with a bandsaw, which is amazing. And the third one that you really need a specialized tool for is called a resaw. That's when you turn wood up on its side and you kind of rip through it that way. So between those 3 cuts, the resaw, the curve, and the rip cut, that's really what you need a bandsaw for. You can start off with a smaller one, but it's going to take the place of a jigsaw, it's going to take the place of a table saw, and it's going to take, well, really nothing does a lot of resaws besides a bandsaw. You could kind of do it with the table saw, but not really that well. So I would say if you're going to buy one really nice plug-in machine, I would say to do the bandsaw.
Number 4, a good tape measure. You need a good tape measure when you are woodworking to get nice, accurate cuts so you can get them to the right length, and also when you're doing assembly, you want them all the right size. It will mess with your project because if you don't have them at the right size, because woodworking is very precise and you'll have to fix it.
Number 5, number 5 is a drill. So it doesn't have to be cordless, but a drill is really critical. Hammers, you don't use a lot of nails in woodworking. You don't use a ton of screws, but you do use a lot more screws than you do a hammer and nails. But what you do use is drilling pilot holes. You're drilling holes constantly. So a drill is important. And if you do screw anything, you can put a screwdriver tip in a drill. A drill is awesome.
Number 6 is, the Orbital Sander. Nobody likes sanding. Well, actually, it's really good when you use the Orbital Sander, because the Orbital Sander will make your project look beautiful. It'll help get out all those bumpy, bad edges. You'll be able to sand it all down nice and flat. Orbital Sanders are awesome, and the one that we have right here is a plug-in, because when you don't have them plug-in, they go dead fast. Like, I think we used some on the boat restoration video. What, it lasted like an hour? What was it? It was something like that, right, Dad?
It was like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was like no time at all. You want to make sure when you get a sander, get an Orbital one and make sure it has a cord.
Friday Workshop. And that's the top really 7 tools that you really need to do woodworking.
Those tools are awesome, yeah.
We do have some honorable mentions though. The router.
And the speed square.
Yeah, so the router, it can do a lot of edge work, rounding edges, and it can make pretty edges. It can also be really useful for joinery. And so I think if you're gonna add on to the basic tool set, a router is really awesome.
Speed square is really awesome for when you're measuring. You just put it right up to the board, then you have this straight line right here all the way across. Pretty cool. I like the speed square a lot. It's nice, quick, and fast when you don't want to just go out and get the tape measure and do both sides.
So, yeah, a speed square is awesome for like gluing things together and making sure they're square. A speed square is just awesome to make things square, and also for a straight edge. A straight edge is something that's critical to have in a workshop. I think Dom probably picked a better add-on tool than I did. But if you like videos like these,
Check out this one!
like and subscribe.
Yeah!